Hello, everyone, and happy Memorial Day weekend. Um, I'm here to talk about something along the lines of what I normally discuss, but from a little bit more of a simplistic perspective. So, I know that the longer I go along my journey, the more bizarre and the more um, eccentric my experiences become. I'm very much aware of this, and I do notice that people are very standoffish about things that I share. People in my personal circle, and even some people in the spiritual groups, if they haven't gotten to this level of their experience. So I'm just here to kind of remind everyone today that even though I have experiences that not many other people in my personal circle are experiencing, that I'm still the same person. I'm a different version of me, but I'm still essentially Crystal Dawn Hill, the same person that you've always known. When I was younger and out in the workforce and everything, people turned to me a lot for insight and sometimes even advice, which I'm very apprehensive about giving. But if I'm feeling strongly inclined, I do actually give advice from time to time. But, I think a lot of people have this illusional belief that because I'm having all these experiences, that somehow the the person, who is a very down to earth, reasonable, logical minded person somehow is gone. And that isn't at all the case. I'm still very functional as much as I can be with my visual limitations. But, I'm still a human. I still have emotions and worldly minded thought processes about things going on in the world. I get up every morning and have my coffee and check Facebook and YouTube like so many people do. I take a shower. I go to the bathroom. I have feelings that fluctuate depending on what's going on in my life. I still do all of the things that I always did, except things that I can no longer do because of my blindness, like work or drive. I still get out and take walks and mingle and try to conduct, conversations with people, to stay in touch with, what's going on in society. But I think because of things that go on in my experience and my energy, that people, they veer away from me because they somehow have this idea that there's something like off with me, and there really isn't. It's just that my experiences have always transcended those of the physical world. And I try to spend time talking with people and let them see that side of me, but it's like a part of them that pulls this spiritual side out of me. And that's all par for the course, because when I came here, when I was born, my purpose was to help people understand themselves. And I've always done that, whether it was intentional or not. It's just my nature. It's how I was wired. It's the purpose that God had for me coming here. And it started at a very, very young age. It's just that as I've gotten older, I've gotten less afraid of sharing who I truly am on the inside. I'm becoming more and more aware of the need for people to accept the side of themselves, because the the uglier society gets, the more frightening it gets. And the more superficial it gets, the more we need people who, like so many people in the spiritual and the twin flame community, we need loving, open, compassionate, kind-hearted people. And there's some people out in the world that really don't care about any of that. It's like literally dog eat, well, not literally, I hope, but dog eat dog, and everybody just running over top of everybody else is getting what they need because they're afraid. They're afraid of lack. They're afraid of getting outdone in one way or the other. I could go on and on about just things that people are afraid of happening to them. And I think, and I've not shared this with many people other than my closest friends, but I'm going to just put it out there because this is kind of flowing out of me, so I feel like that it's probably the right time to share it. See, I'm having my coffee. Excuse me. I really believe that the reason that I'm the way I am becoming more of is because of all of the experiences that I've gone through. All the traumas that I went through as a child, financial issues that I've had to deal with, housing issues that I've had to deal with, relationship issues, up until my probably mid to late 30s, I was afraid of losing all of that stuff too. But after you go through that and you come out on the other end and realize how resilient you are and how you keep bouncing back and you end up being okay, even through all of those obstacles and trials, you become less afraid of those things happening again. And absolutely, this has a lot to do with faith, and trust in God, and knowing that He is always there no matter what. I have a lady who is from the blind organization, and she comes about twice a month to do lessons with me on how to use my white cane. You see blind people with them and you think it's just a matter of using them to feel, but there's actually proper techniques. And I've been working with her a year, and I'm just getting to the point where she's comfortable kind of backing away and letting me do things on my own with getting around town, crossing intersections, and crossing busy streets safely and everything. So um, when we were doing my lesson yesterday, I physically felt something push me in the middle of my back, telling me it was okay to cross. And I went ahead and crossed, and when I got on the other side, she congratulated me on making good judgment calls as far as when to cross. And I said, something pushed me. And she's like, I saw your back arch. And I said, yeah, something physically pushed me and told me it was okay to go. And I realized it's my spirit guide. And last evening, I felt a presence with me, and it was that same guide reminding me that they're always there. And this may be very hard for people to believe. I don't know why, because we all experience it. We just don't always talk about it or discuss it as openly as I do. But we have, you wouldn't think that anyone who is a Christian or is a believer in God, or anyone with any faith at all, you wouldn't think they would be skeptical of all this, but they are. And to me, it just doesn't make any sense because the signs are everywhere if you just look for them. And it's kind of ironic that I have lost my vision, because I feel now that I can see more than I could see as a sighted person. And I think that everything had, and this is kind of going back to what I was getting ready to say a few minutes ago, is that I think that everything happens in our lives to open us up to something better. Even if the situation looks unfavorable or detrimental on the outward perspective, there's always an upside to everything, and God always has his purpose for everything that happens in our lives. And I'm not going to pretend that everything is always perfect. I'm not going to, as long as we're on this earth, we're never really truly home free. We live with the knowing that there could always be things to come up, and another thing I've learned is to never take anything or anyone for granted. To always be grateful and appreciative, and to just know that, just to be in the moment all the time, just to be in the present moment, and to be grateful, if you have shelter and food and someone who cares about you, and again, just knowing that God is always there, and that he's going to send angels and helpers into our lives, whether it be celestial and non-physical beings, or people who are in the physical world who are open vessels and conduits of God working in our lives. So I hope this gives you a little bit deeper insight to all of the facets of this crystal and not just my abstract spiritual perspective on things, but also, I've done a lot of inner work as well. And I had a pastor who told me many years ago, everything always has to be in balance. And he was absolutely right about that. And my whole journey since speaking with him has been about bringing every aspect of my life into balance. And so I'm getting to the point now, and where I am in my journey, that I really want to bring my physical, worldly part of my life into balance with my spiritual part. The early part of my life, I had I had 2 marriages, but I was a very functional person in society. I was an upstanding citizen. I maintained a job for many, many years with the same company. And even losing that job was a blessing in disguise, because it set me on a new path of different experiences. I was bored. I was burnt out. I was fed up with the way the company had been treating its employees and even its customers sometimes. And I just, I wanted something better for myself. And even though I have faced a lot of obstacles and trials and so forth, I've also had very many blessings and miracles and just amazing, phenomenal experiences in my life. So, yes, I want to get back in, and not back into balance, but it's time for me to bring my worldly, physical life into balance with the spiritual part of me. And I'm not renouncing anything or anyone. I never will. I integrate everything and everybody into my life. So, I used to be somewhat self-sabotaging, where if something even looked remotely like love, I would push it away, or sabotage it in any way that I could, because I was so afraid of having unconditional love in my life and then losing it. But I have, lost many people who I really believed were around for the long haul, and they just kind of faded away. And I let them go with love and compassion, and a bit of melancholy, sorrow, but also joy in knowing that they're also growing and they're also expanding themselves. And I always trust that the people that are meant to be in our lives for the long haul will always return. And so I'm sitting here on this Saturday morning and having my coffee and just reflecting on everything amazing that has ever happened to me ever in my life, and how it's all intrinsically tied together into one beautiful thread that just goes on for eternity. So I'm going to stop this video here. I may have more to say on this later, but I believe that's enough for many of you to digest for now, those who are watching it. So thank you to everyone who has been following along on my journey. Thank you for listening today. And I wish you all the best along your journey as well. Have a happy and safe Memorial Day weekend. And God bless you all. And I will speak with you again soon. Thank you.